Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cringe Club, the podcast that celebrates everything cringe. Now, it's been a while because, again, I totally underestimated how long it would take me to write Cringe Club 4, which I've been on deadline for and have just handed in the first draft. So I was trying to do that along with, obviously, single mumming, other work, life admin. But I've got a brilliant guest for you today. He is an author and a school librarian and a bit of an expert on all things Dungeons and Dragons, as you'll find out. He's also very accident prone, which warmed my heart because I'm a fellow clumsy person. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. In the Cringe Club today, we have podcaster, school librarian, and debut author of the brand new book, A Million Missiles All at Once. It is Lucas Maxwell. Welcome to the podcast, Lucas.
Thanks, Emma Jane. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's so nice to have you on. And you have assured me you are full of cringy stories. Just like I am. So that does make me feel better. Because the whole point of this show is, this is your chance, Lucas, to get any of those embarrassing moments, some which may have stayed with you for possibly for years, off your chest. Because I reckon if we share our shame, it kind of loses its power, doesn't it? We feel a little lighter, hopefully, afterwards. So that's what the show is all about. And also, it's quite funny as well to talk about embarrassing things, isn't it? It makes us all feel a bit better about our own stuff. So I just get people on to make me feel better about my own cringy life, basically. So I hope you don't mind that.
I don't mind.
Yeah. So let's go right back, shall we? What would you say is one of your earliest memories of having that feeling of cringe and embarrassment? Because I think when we're really young, there's that lovely joyous time where you're not self-conscious and you just don't care. And then suddenly it kicks in, doesn't it? When did that happen to you, do you think?
Very early, because there was a very brief time where my brother and I went to a different school, very, very briefly. And I was taught very briefly for a few weeks by my own grandmother.
Okay.
And that isn't actually the cringy moment, I guess. She's she's still with us, 96 today. Today of this recording is her 96th birthday, actually, in Canada. But anyway, and still sharp as a tack and amazing. And
lovely.
She was lovely, but it was a different area of Nova Scotia, Canada, where I'm from. And when I was in school, when the teacher took the register or the attendance, he would or she would just yell out your name, and you would just say, here. You would just say that. And that was it. You didn't have to say sir like they do here. It was just like you just yell out. So I was in grade 2. So I would have been, maybe 6 years old. And my grandmother was teaching me, and she started to take the attendance, and everybody around me was saying, when she was saying their name, everyone around me was saying present. And honestly, I had no clue what that meant. I didn't know what it meant. And I thought that it was some sort of special day, and everyone had brought my grandmother a present.
Oh.
And I had no clue, and I'm panicking. I'm and so I'm in the middle of the kind of pack. I'm sweating, and she gets to me, and she's got this smile on her face because she knows I'm there. She drove me to school, and she says, Lucas, and I just sit there and go, I don't have a present. I'm really sorry. And the whole class erupted in laughter, of course. And then out on the playground, at recess, kids like, hey, do you remember when you said present, you idiot? And I was like,
no.
I do remember that 5 minutes ago. Yeah. But yeah, that was awful.
That's pretty bad. I mean, yeah, that would stay with you for a long time, I think.
It was one of those things. Luckily, we went back to our regular school after a few weeks, so I was able to kind of like pretend it didn't happen.
So as you went on through school, did things improve?
No.
How did I know you were going to say that?
We grew up in a very rural town, and my dad was the local policeman in the town, and I had a great childhood. My mom was a teacher. I didn't have her as a teacher, and of course my grandmother was a teacher. But having a policeman in a small town means that people will sometimes come to the house instead of coming to the police station because they my dad was really
Oh,
well
yeah.
respected, which is was great, but also means sometimes getting like characters in the house quite a bit. But at school as well, if your dad arrested somebody on the weekend, they might have some children who aren't too happy about that or whatever, and they might come and
Yeah.
seek you out. So there were often moments that are maybe not cringy, but also a little bit intense that way. But yeah, throughout school, it was always a string of embarrassments. And one memory I have of going to school or on the weekend, a friend of mine brought over this thing that his parents had bought him, and it was a rocket. It was a plastic rocket, but it was all done with pressure, and you would fill it with water and
Yeah.
pump, and it would just shoot straight up. And you had to pump it to a certain point, of course, and no clue. Again, me zero, no idea what this thing is, how it works, and he's pumping it, and for some bizarre reason I decided, because it wasn't working, he's kind of like cursing at it, it's not working. I might have been like 9 or 10, and I lean over it and it just shoots up. I'm quite lucky actually, but it did hit me straight in the forehead. But I went to school
Oh,
for
God.
ages with like the biggest bump on my head. It was so, and again, as a kid, you think it's the end of the world
Of
because
course you do.
you think
Yeah.
everyone's looking at you. So that was one of those things where, and again, you get all this attention. I was someone who definitely at that time did not want any attention at all.
No.
So
So that makes it harder. Like, it must be difficult if you, like, yeah, didn't really want the limelight for something so random.
yeah.
That actually does sound quite dangerous as well. I think you were pretty
Oh yeah.
lucky.
We're lucky. We used to play with thing. I mean, I'm sure comedians have done a better job with this joke, but we definitely played with something called lawn darts. I don't know if you had them in the UK, but they were essentially, you can Google them. They were essentially giant spikes that you just throw into the air and play this game. I think they've been banned since in North America, but dangerous. I mean, you would throw them in the air and they would come down like a missile. They were sharp metal points, and you try to land them in a target. But
Oh
as
my.
kids, you're just trying to hit each other. It's terrible. I mean, it's just
I
ridiculous. But
mean,
yeah, dangerous.
as far as I'm aware, we didn't have them over here. But it sounds horrendous. It's like,
Lawn darts.
why? And these were made for kids. These
Yeah,
were like designed, right?
they were weapons that you could
They
buy.
were.
I'm sure they were banned at some point. Yeah, you're probably smart that you didn't have them over here. Yeah.
They must have been. I think the most dangerous game we played was something called British Bulldog, but it was only dangerous
Oh
because
yeah,
you played it running across a road. Yeah, and then it was a different time back then.
it definitely was.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it? I think
different.
parents just didn't worry as much back then about us. They just kind of let us get on with it.
You got out of it. You were like, we were sent outside,
Yeah.
and you. I mean, I had, like I said, had a great childhood, but I can just have memories of being at a friend's place, and
Yeah.
a mother coming out just shouting, is there a Jeff here? Is there a
Yeah.
your mom?
That's it. And obviously, like, I don't know about you, but with my teenagers, I can see them on my phone. I can track, we have like a family
Trackers.
tracking app. So, but obviously our parents wouldn't have had that. They just would have had to
No.
hope we were where we said we were.
Just
yeah.
I know. It's like a
So-
spy movie now with these kids, like exactly.
I know. It's so funny, isn't it? Yeah,
it's
you just
crazy.
flick around when you check. Mind you,
Yeah.
they do it to me. If I'm ever late back from somewhere, they're tracking me.
Where
Or
are
they'll
you?
do find my phone, and my
I know.
phone will suddenly buzzing when I'm at the pub or something. Oh,
Yeah. I don't know if it's any better or not. I mean, I like seeing where they are, but it's
Yeah,
also
me
like,
too.
yeah,
I
don't
would
know.
be a nervous wreck, I think, without, like, if I would been back a parent in the 90s. But then we wouldn't know any different. So,
No, don't know any different.
so
No,
I
yeah.
suppose they didn't have to it was just is what it is. So, okay. So after the rocket, surely things can't get any worse. Are we
no.
going up? Have we gone up to secondary school now, or high
Yeah.
school, whatever you would have called it?
I have a story from that. So yeah, definitely. Again, I felt like I was someone who I loved music. Can't play anything, but I love listening to music. But I was more of a, I guess Metallica was big to me. Those bands like heavy metal, I like the fast music, and also like stuff that was older than me. Like I loved the Doors, and I loved Creedence Clearwater Revival, things like that. But I tried to like know about music, but then this will date me, but I was around, of course, when the band In Excess became huge in North America.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember their big North American hit now, but I was at like my brother was 3 years older, and he was like the cool guy. Like he had all like he was, and I was socially awkward, and he was not. He was cool, but I would hang around him to just have the
Yeah,
coolness
to get
kind of
some
rub
cool
off.
points. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
so he must have felt sorry for me or something. But he went to a party, and I tagged along, and everybody seemed older, and I was just hanging out, and I was trying to act cool and talking to somebody, and I was trying to think of again, like we were very rural, and it took like we would the drive to go to the record store to buy a CD was like at the time, an hour and a half drive. It was
Yeah. Oh,
big
wow.
deal. So I
That
didn't
is
have
rural.
that.
Yeah.
Very rural. So anyway, I was talking to somebody about this band that I had heard. I had seen the CD case somewhere, and I was just trying to look cool and act cool. So I was like, "Hey, um, the song came on the thing, and I was like, oh yeah, this band, they're great, Inks, love them, just love them, Inks." And I was calling, and this girl was like, Inks. I was like, yeah. She goes, this is In Excess. I was like,
Oh,
I just
no.
like nodded, yeah, yeah. And then I just like I walked out of the party, like just straight out. And so again, to this day, I still remember calling In Excess Inks, and I called them
Oh,
Inks for a while. I
no.
think, yeah, yeah, Inks. No clue,
Oh,
didn't
that is
hear them.
so
We
funny.
didn't
Because
have like
especially when you
radio that was
try
cool.
and,
Yeah,
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 you're
nothing.
trying to be cool. And
Be
actually,
cool.
I still get that now, with words that you've read a lot, but you
Yeah.
haven't actually said out loud, and then you go to say it and you just say it wrong. Even as a grown adult, it happens to us, doesn't it?
Oh
Um,
yeah, all the time. Yeah, I mean, I used to make that mistake a lot with other things. But anyway, like
yeah.
with my dad's truck as a younger person, he had a truck. Canadians all drive trucks, and well, he sometimes
Yeah, they
have to.
love a
But
love a truck.
he bought a truck, and there's a company called General Motors Company, and they would call these brand a truck, and it would just have a big red GMC on the grill of this massive truck. And I was trying to brag. This is as a younger kid. Yeah, my dad got a new truck. It's like, what is it? I'm like, oh, it's a Gimp. I called it a
Oh,
Gimp. I had no clue. 'Cause I was quite young then. I wasn't a
yeah, of
teenager. I
course.
wasn't a teenager calling it Inks,
Too
but I
young
was
to know.
too
Yeah.
young to understand. But still, probably old enough to know better. But I did call it a GMC truck a Gimp once, and I have a memory of that. So yeah,
But yeah, inks is I mean, you could have just styled it out and been like, well,
yeah,
actually, not a lot of
yeah.
people know this, but that's what they were called. But everyone
They
else got it
called. They
wrong.
started. That's right. They started out Inks, and the guy was like,
Yeah.
"Look, we should call it something different.
Exactly.
There's an Inks. There's an Inks in Belgium. You got to change your name or something. There's
I
another
think
Inks."
if you say something with confidence, people will be like, "Oh yeah." Did it get any better through high school?
I think my first car was yeah, I'm not this old. This is older than me, but I had my first car was a
Mm.
1974 Volkswagen Beetle that
Oh,
I
cool.
it was
Yeah.
in theory very cool.
Okay.
But I paid like $200 for it. I would work like unloading big trucks at like an
Yeah.
equivalent to like a Tesco at really early morning, like 4 a.m. And I would unload the trucks and go to school. But I saved up my money, bought this car, and I was still very excited that I had a car, because getting a lot, you have to, again, like in Canada, everyone, the day of your birthday is 16, you get a license, because the distances are so
Yeah, you
great.
have to be able to drive, yeah.
There's no the public transport was almost gone then. There's no trains where I was from or
Mm.
anything, or taxis or anything. So get this car, but some friends of mine decided to put, because it's such a light vehicle, but it
Yeah.
was such a piece of junk, really. I mean, those cars are hard to kill, but this thing was, Canadian salty roads. It was the Nova Scotian roads. It was rusted, and they had attempted during the lunch hour to pick it up as much as they could and move it, I guess, sideways in the parking area of the
Yeah.
school. But all they ended up doing was just tearing both bumpers off the both ends, and they didn't know
Yeah.
what to do. And back in those days, I mean, again, I sound ancient old, but you didn't have to like. I just didn't lock. You didn't lock your car doors or anything like that. We didn't lock our house doors. I was a kid. I don't know. It just was the way it was. And so they just opened the car doors, rolled the windows down, and just shoved the bumpers in. And I'm showing off this car, going, "Come on out!" And then it looks like some sort of
Oh,
like metal
scrap heap.
kebab.
Just,
Yes,
yeah.
kebab, just skewered
Like
with the
just a
two
bit of
bumpers.
scrap on the side of the. I mean, I think that, like, what did your friends, did they own up? What
one of
happened?
them one of them did eventually. I had no clue who did. I was furious. I mean, it probably would have happened at some point, and my dad just he welded them. He's a very handy individual, and way more than me, and so he welded them back on that weekend. I remember, but I was just mortified because it was like you're trying to be cool. You got a
Yeah.
car, and here it is. It looks like a toy that someone's destroyed or
Mm.
something. It just looks terrible. Yeah.
Oh, again, it's making me just feel sorry for young Lucas.
No,
He got
no, no,
all
no. This
excited about
is.
his car. But like you
Oh,
say, it was probably going to happen at one point, but
it was
still.
probably going to
Well,
happen.
I hope your
Yeah.
friends felt a bit bad,
I
you
think
know.
I think they might have.
Please tell me, as you got older, you left school, you've maybe got yourself a nice flat, you've maybe gone to uni, I don't know. Please tell me
um,
Lucas gets, comes into his own then. The cringe
so nah,
stops.
I try to think of like because I've had a lot of jobs. I worked throughout most of well not most I worked throughout university, a lot of times just to have a spare money, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, Nova Scotia, beautiful place, love it. It's my home, but the job opportunities are often more, I guess, like manual labor, fishing, lumber, like the
Yeah.
lumberjack image is very much a thing, and that is fine. That is amazing, but that, that's fine. But I'm a very accident-prone individual, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite clumsy and at many times. But I had this job. I tried to get a job as a fisherman on a lobster boat, and you think so someone who grows up where I grew up is like I have been on a lot of boats,
Yeah.
etc. It doesn't bother me. Fishing boat that is small in the middle of the ocean is a much different animal. I've never been more sick in my life. I mean that this isn't the cringy story. So I just was like I couldn't do the work, but because
No.
you're supposed to be putting rubber band. My job was to put rubber bands on the claws of lobsters as we catch the lobsters, because lobster fishing is like the
Oh my
big
God, what a
industry.
job. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the boat is going like this up and down, and I can't get my footing. I'm sick out, and you're out there. It's not like you can quit. It's not like oh,
No.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go to get a coffee. That you are on a boat with four people who are angry that you aren't doing the work, and it was about I would say 16 hours of the work like misery. I couldn't do
Yeah.
anything. But anyway, so I decided, you know what I'll do? I'll work in the fish, like the plants where you on land where you. But because I wanted money and needed money,
Yeah.
so my job was to unload the boats, and that is going down into the hold, to down basically at the bottom. Everything's encased in ice. So your first job is to break the ice apart, and the fish just fall out. There was catfish, there was
Oh,
redfish,
good
they call them
God.
herring, but they
Just imagining
cod
the smell, like you say, the smell of these places. I couldn't cope.
smell was something. And you
Yeah.
would shovel the fish into this giant metal barrel, and this bucket, I should say, could hold about 3 humans, I would say. And then when it was full of fish, you would yell up, and there was a guy up front, up the top, and he would winch it
Yeah.
up, dump it. Anyway, uh, and we would of course try to fill it as fast as we could, and till we can get out of there. Because once the boat was done, you could go. We have a load of a boat full of codfish, and we're shoveling, and of course we're overfilling the bucket because we're trying to get as much in as possible. And the bucket goes up. This thing is massive, like it's huge, the size of like a Fiat. This bucket is
Mm.
huge, and it's in the middle of the boat. We're going up. It's going up, and I'm getting the ice picked as the bucket's going up full of fish, and it just swayed, I guess, the bucket, and the codfish fell frozen. So it's a
Oh,
frozen
God.
codfish that falls probably maybe 10 feet, maybe more.
Yeah.
And the first one hit me in the top of the head, and I just saw like white, a flash
Oh,
of white,
God.
and I kind of stumble, and I can hear people saying something, and I drop my shovel and things, and then another one hit me, and knocked out cold. I completely knocked out cold.
Oh my God.
My next memory is like just four people standing around me. I'm on the ground, and like, are you, hey man, are you all right? Like, what are you doing? And back to work kind of
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, so knocked out cold by a frozen codfish. And I had just started again, like trying to like
Oh
show you
no.
you're tough, show that you
Yeah, of
make an
course.
impression. You got to be tough around these guys, And
Well, I'm sorry to hear you got your second head injury of
it's,
of the episode. This seems to be a
uh,
regular occurrence. Is there anything else from that period of time that you would want to unleash from your chest?
well, I lived in Bristol for a little time and loved it. So this is kind of jumping forward a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Lived in Prague some and worked there and loved that, and then ended up in Bristol where I met my amazing wife. And I was working at the University of Bristol, and it was really like my job was to literally put stuff in envelopes, lick the envelopes, and
Oh,
deliver
I've done
stuff.
that
Like,
job. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Envelope stuffer.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know what entered my brain, but this person and I was like in the what they called like the CPD department where they would do like staff things
Mm.
for like staff for CPD, and this person who worked there gave me a stack of letters and a stack of envelopes, and um, had them all wanted me to write the addresses on. And I don't know why I didn't ask about this or whatever. She had personalized each letter, and I, for some bizarre reason, thought they were all the same because I just assumed. I don't know why. You should never assume. And of course, I mailed them all. So I mailed the wrong envelope, the wrong letters to the wrong people, but they were personalized. And this caused, I mean, I've never been shouted at so much in a job. And I have been made mistakes, and
Yeah.
people, and
Pulled you
I
up
have
on it.
never been shouted at like this in my life. And, whatever I did, whatever letter I sent to these people, it caused this huge embarrassment. And
Oh no.
this person's husband also worked at the university, and it was so like gut wrenching to me, but also cringy. Like, he came down in front of everyone. It was like something from a movie. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
pack your stuff and get out. Like, it was that kind of firing. I did not last long at Bristol University, but yeah, that's the way it goes with jobs
Well,
sometimes.
if you had done well at those jobs, you might not be doing what you're doing today, you see? So it's all
That's
worked out. Because
that's a good point.
obviously you're an author, you're also a librarian as well, aren't you, in a school? So I bet that's an amazing job.
It's
Um,
been great. I've been there 12 years now at Glenthorne High School in South London, and it's been amazing. Yeah, yeah, it's been
and
awesome.
have you found your place where you do get to embrace your cringe?
I will tell a story that is very recent, but it's more of being as a staff member at a
Yeah.
school, you are kind of a parent to some of these kids in a way
Of
where you
course.
take them on trips. So I have these amazing group of kids who are part of a mock trial team. So they do they rehearse and they take part in a fake court case, and they compete
Oh
against other
wow.
schools. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work,
That
but it's a lot
sounds
of fun.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to take a train trip from London to Ipswich for this huge tournament. And we have to be at the train station at London Liverpool Street at like 6 a.m. to get up there for the thing at
Oh
like
gosh, yeah.
whatever. I know, it's huge, like just really early. And I'm trying to get prepared, and I've got the train tickets ready, and I needed them printed off, of course. And you have to hold on to them because even though they are very responsible kids, if you give them to, what's going to happen. They're going to lose them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to the printer at school, had it all set up, and printed off the like what is it like I had like 40 tickets, return tickets to print off from train line or whatever. And as I click print, I'm like, okay, I got 40 tickets. They'll print off. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom because as a school, like you got to do everything at once. You got to
Yeah, yeah.
multitask. You got to do all this stuff. So I go to the toilet, and I come back, and for some bizarre reason, my printer and I was in a rush to get home and get everything ready. I didn't have time my computer was logged out, and anyway, etc. Um, my printer had preset to A3 color, so I then had 40 A3
Oh my!
train
Is
ticket.
that like poster size? Isn't it?
That's poster. Yeah, like so I I just had it all. I was like, to hell with it. I'm going to use these. I don't care. And
Well,
I
I
had them in
guess
a
it's a
bag.
waste of ink otherwise, isn't
Huge
it?
waste in the schools. Money
Yeah.
budgets in schools, and yeah, the
So
A3
everyone had
color.
their ticket on a poster, basically.
So luckily, the guy at the train station just let us all through. Sometimes they'll do that if they see a big school group.
Yeah.
They just go, yeah, because they don't want to deal with it. But you get on the train, and I was like, and I had them out, and the guys coming through their tickets, and I had to spread them out. I looked like an old
Oh
sea captain. Like
no!
I just had them spread
Yeah,
out on the table. I was
all
like,
on the
this is
table.
normal. Yeah, this is what I do. This is how I do it. I like it this way. And he's like, he
Well,
just
that's
looks at
the
me.
thing. The train
Yeah,
conductor must have thought this guy this is what he thinks you have to
this
do.
guy.
Especially, and then
This
they
is
heard
what.
your accent. They might have been like, "Oh, well, maybe in Canada, this is how their they have their train ticket."
This is how we do it in Canada
Yeah.
with trains. We have to, and it was cringy. And the kids made fun of me
I
relentlessly.
bet they thought it
when
was
they saw.
hilarious, though.
Oh, absolutely. So that was definitely something and that was just last month, I think. Last month.
That's funny. I was going to say, what's your most recent cringe? That was my next question. But would
That's
you say
pretty-
that is, I think,
I can
that's
combine
one
them.
of the biggest ones as well. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
proves that as you get older, the cringes don't get less.
Definitely don't.
The cringes
definitely
keep
do
on
not.
coming and almost multiply to A3 size cringes.
Multiply.
That's what-
They're getting
That's
exponentially
what we're
bigger.
getting. So how about hobbies then? Obviously, we want to embrace our cringe here. We're all proud of
Yeah.
our little ways. Have you got anything that you really geek out about?
And you've had a friend of mine on named Alex Fawkes,
Yes.
author Alex Fawkes, the great Alex Fawkes, who writes the Rules for Vampire series, Ministry for Mischief.
She's really funny.
She's
Fellow
hilarious.
cringe bag, isn't she?
Yeah, her and I and some other authors and friends meet every Sunday to play Dungeons and Dragons, and
Awesome.
that is considered by many
That's your passion.
a geeky passion, and that is 100%.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
So you actually regularly meet up and play?
Every Sunday. Yeah,
I love that. So is it something you've always been into as a kid
D&D,
as well? Or?
As D&D, my brother introduced it to me probably when I was maybe 10 or 11, and it always hooked me, always stayed with me. In rural Canada, it was hard to find a group to play, but the books in the world, I was always obsessed with and read them voraciously, made characters, would always try to find people to play. We played the computer games, the big old computer desktop games that were there. Always was there. And then once I came to the UK, I started running it in the school library, and it's a huge phenomenon at our school. And then I put out a thing on Twitter. I just thought it'd be fun to record a one-time D&D event, on a Sunday with some authors, and it was Alex Fawkes, Alex Dunn, who's an Irish author who wrote Book of Secrets and Small Magics, which is coming out soon. Grania O'Brien, who's just a big award-winning author with Solo, the YA verse novel. And so and Dave Rudden at the time, who's a huge author as well, and Call of the Dead and Sister Awake and all these great novels. And they were like, "Yep, we'll do one."
So they all answered your plea. That's amazing. See, everyone's out there looking for people to play with, and you answered their prayers.
Here we are every Sunday still. My first introduction to D&D, my brother was like, "Come on," because there was this huge movement in North America called the Satanic Panic, where people were told that D&D was real curses.
Because that was actually, they touched on that in Stranger Things, didn't they?
They do. It stems from a person who claimed that her son was cursed by a high school principal playing D&D, etc. And it grew and grew and grew. People believed that you could actually summon the devil. And I was told, you got to be careful with this thing. And I was told this stuff by people around me. So of course I was like, I have to figure out what this is. Like I have to play this immediately. And my brother was like, hit me too. And so and it was very much like that. He took me to this house. There's people that were older than him, so much older than me. And we went down into a basement. They were smoking cigarettes. There were posters on the wall, like Iron Maiden, these bands that I didn't know about at the time. Danzig, these I
bet they didn't have inks up there, did they?
No inks. No inks. I was looking for it. But they were playing this game in which the rules were much different back then for D&D. But I was immediately obsessed with it because it was so like, oh, this is all just in one guy's head. And you could
Yeah.
basically you could explore wherever you want, and everything's determined by this dice, and you could create your own stories. I was hooked immediately. So that's my geeky kind of
Well, I think
hobby.
because obviously, because you write stories now, it's all
Yes,
storytelling, isn't it? So that's maybe where your passion came from.
definitely. I
But
would
it's
imagine.
becoming a bit that is, I mean, it would have been considered much cringier a while back, but I think even that's getting a bit cool now because of Stranger Things, I think has helped. It's
That's when I was a kid, and you probably like being a nerd was like you would get beat, like you would be beaten up
yeah.
at school, and like it was like the
Yes.
worst thing to be.
Yeah.
Now nerds rule the world, like they you know, so it's completely gone full circle. I agree. Like now it is cool, so it's kind of hard. Maybe I'm not being cringy enough with my hobbies, but that is the big one that takes up a lot of my free
Yeah,
time.
I mean, it's the thing is, it is considered nerdy, but because of things like programs like Stranger Things, it's actually
Yeah,
quite cool to be a clever or have your little quirks that can come in handy to save the world from, aliens or whatever. So, yeah,
100%.
so it's interesting how things have changed.
100%.
But yeah, I would still say there are probably people out there that do think it's a bit cringy. I find it I've never played it.
It's awesome.
But it just seems very complicated to me. But
If you had
maybe
the
I just
right,
need to get
it basically just going to jump into it. If you have like a
yeah.
good group of people, it is overwhelming to begin with. There's a lot going on, but once you get into it, it's so like you realize like, oh, like there are rules, quote unquote, but there aren't really, like it's just
That's what
framework.
fascinates me. Like what actually happened. Like, do you? I forgive me. I know nothing about this.
Don't
Do you
worry.
have your own character that you play every time? Or do you
Yes.
are you right? So do you create that character yourself, or are you from a
Yeah.
playbook or something?
No, so what
Really?
you can use a manual to create it.
Yeah.
So for instance, because I'm the dungeon master of the group, um, so I don't have a character. I am the person who
That's your character sort of thing, right?
present the scenarios to the people. Alex Fawkes's character is a 7 foot tall anteater wizard that she made. Like she created out of her own head, named Sibylline
Yeah.
X-Eventu. Okay, and now they start at level 1, just like any kind of like video game style, like level 1, and what are we? 4 years later, she's level 15, which is very powerful. But let's say you made a character, it doesn't matter who it would be. Essentially, you would say, let's say, I don't know, your character wanted to convince a guard that you are a famous noble woman and want to
Yeah.
enter the fancy party or something. I don't know,
Right.
anything. I would tell you to roll that 20-sided dice you see on Stranger Things and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I
I
then
see.
in my head, I have a number that I know you need to meet or higher to convince that guard to let you into this party, this thing. And you have, as whatever character you are, you have certain bonuses to your charisma and your convincing
Okay.
skills.
Yeah.
So you might have like I think Alex Fawkes has maybe like a +2 or something to charisma. I could be wrong on that, but she'll roll. I might say in my head, I know she needs a 15, or you might need a 15. You roll. If you roll 15 or higher, I then role play the guard, going, "All right, go inside," or whatever.
Oh,
If
I
you roll
love it.
if you roll below, I'm like, "Oh, sorry, man, we're full up,"
Yeah.
and that's it. It's just that. I mean, it's
It does
math
sound,
and improv.
I mean, you are making it sound very fun. So, really, the dungeon master is kind of making the rules of that particular game.
In the moment. So it's like
Yeah.
it's been described to me and other people as like it's basically maths and improv.
I wish I'd got into it as a kid now. That's on my. It's not too late.
No,
You've convinced me. It's been really nice talking to you about all your cringes, but can we talk a little bit about your book?
very much. Yeah, it's called A Million Tiny Missiles All at Once, and it's published by Chicken House, and it will be out on the 9th of April. And it's kind of a fictionalized version of my life growing up. It's been described. I don't go around. I don't have enough guts to go around and say this, but it's been described as like a perks of being a wallflower type book. I don't. That to me is like
I
an
love that
amazing.
film. I love
I
that
love it.
film.
Yeah, in the book and like that kind of book, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And it's about a 14-year-old named Elias who like me, is neurodivergent and is struggling at school and struggling to understand why his family's kind of breaking apart. And he decides that he's got this upcoming talent show at his school, and he wants to be a stand-up comedian like me. Like I've done stand-up comedy in Canada,
Yeah.
and I've done it here a few times, but I'm not a comedian. But I've done open
Yeah.
mics and different things, and I love stand-up comedy. My dream in life was to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and so Elias wants to win this talent show through his stand-up comedy routine, because the prize is a free family dinner at this brand new Pizza Hut that's just opened in his near his
Yeah.
town. And he's convinced that if he wins this talent show, his family will go to this free dinner and it will kind of like quote unquote fix all the issues that he's seeing in his family home. And it's very like naive of him, but he's kind of confused as to what's happening. So really it's his journey from trying to work out what's going on with his older brother, dealing with bullies at school. And yeah, it's kind of it's based on things that I experienced growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do that as authors, don't we? Like, it
Yeah.
might not be
Yeah.
it might not be what actually happened to the exact story, but I definitely draw on my experiences in all of my books, like my Cringe Club
I
books.
bet.
Most of the cringes that happen to the characters are ones that happened to me at school. So it's not the exact,
I,
but I've just taken those feelings of what it's like to be
oh
a
gosh.
tween.
And I should say, I mean, congrats on yeah, and
Oh,
congrats,
thank
because
you.
as a librarian, I have these books, your books in the Cringe Club in my library, of course, and they're always all like the kids are always borrowing. It's really, really nice to see. So
Oh,
we
that's
have them.
so
Yeah.
nice to hear.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just really wanted to have something kids could sort of binge read, and it's a bit of a different format. So I was hoping,
It is.
having a reluctant reader daughter myself,
Yeah.
I could recognize maybe these little bite-sized bits might get people into reading. So it's good to know that the kids in your school are taking it out. So
We need more books like that, because that is 100% true what you just said. They need smaller chunks. My book
yeah,
is quite thin as well. Like I'm trying to think of kids that I would want to get it into the hands of, even to be honest, just to like get them going, because they do need these
well,
smaller
that's the
chunks to
thing, and I
read.
think once you get into the habit of reading when you're younger, then you just start reading anything and everything. But it's just getting into that habit of picking up a book
Yeah.
every night. If you're a bit of a reluctant reader, or if I've had dyslexic people who find it easier to read that, or
Yeah.
neurodiverse. Um, if you're not in that habit, it's easy to get into later life and you've never done it. So I think
100%.
it's really important. There's just lots of options for whatever kind of
Yeah.
reader you are. What did you like to read as a child? Do you remember
Interestingly,
like any books that what got you into reading?
uh, I think I had this similar like I dropped off at a certain point, but before
Yeah.
that, in when I was in grade 5, so I would have been like 9. I probably was reading, but our teacher, my grade 5 teacher, Mrs. Kelly, read us out loud The Hobbit, and it just blew my mind. I know some people, again, might be cringe about that, because they might say, "Oh, it is boring." Whatever. I heard this like it's a lot of walking and talking, uh, but there's a lot of
Actually,
walking.
I do see what they obviously it's an amazing book, but I can see what they mean, the walking and talking bit. But that's funny.
I've
I've
heard
never
somebody
heard
say
that.
that, and I I loved it, and it kind of like tied into like the D&D thing and everything like that, and
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
know
say it was all that fantasy type stuff, isn't it?
the fact
Um,
that it had this maps and this kind of quest, I was absolutely blown away by it, and so that really got me into fantasy. My
yeah.
brother gave me these books that were like uh, these books by this American author named R.A. Salvatore, that were about this underground elven city and this like dark thing. It was really dark stuff,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And then Stephen King, I was reading when I shouldn't have, like, when I was too young, like a lot of
I think
people.
most of us back
Yeah,
in the 90s were reading them before we were supposed to, because you'd steal them from your parents' bookshelf. That's where I got them from. And
that's where I got him.
James Herbert,
James
anything I
Herbert.
could find. Yeah.
And then
So
I dropped off at reading novels for some reason, but I would only read, not only, but I primarily was reading these comic books called The Punisher, Marvel comic books. So
Oh,
again, like,
I've seen the TV show, but
oh yeah, I think the TV show is the new one's pretty good. But anyway, I've not seen it. But the comics, again, probably shouldn't have been reading them at my age.
they're
But
quite violent, I imagine.
super violent, and but I loved them, and that kept me reading, to be honest.
Yeah.
From then on, I did read quite a bit. I've been reading, of course, quite a bit since then. But I'm obsessed with Catcher in the Rye, one of my favorite novels, and
Yeah.
Ken
It's
Kesey,
funny though, but it's
yeah.
just like you say, it's like reading those different kinds of books, like the
Yeah.
comic books in between. It kept
Yes.
you in the habit rather
Kept me
than,
going.
because I think there is a time maybe when you start secondary school, and I've
Yeah.
seen it with my kids as well, where there's so much other reading that they're doing, so much information they're taking in,
Yeah.
that it kind of does drop off a bit. And I think that's the time
Yeah.
you need to sort of, in fact, I got my youngest graphic novels. She went through a time of reading those just to keep her in the habit. And she just found that easier to digest after being at school with all this new reading that's not for pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I do think that's a good idea.
And I've recently discovered, I got my son reading this book called, it's new, it's fairly new. I think it's from Norway. I could be wrong.
Mm.
It's probably about 25,000 words, if I had to say. And it's called Beasts, and it's by Ingvild. I can't think of
Yeah.
Ingvild Jørkelund. I could be butchering that pronunciation. And it's about this. You don't know what's going on. It's very, very short. Brother and sister on the run in Norway, I believe, and there are just these beasts out there in the woods, and they're just running from them. You don't know what's happened to the society or anything. There's no internet. You can read it in like one sitting on the
but
train.
Sometimes
or
that's just what you need, isn't it? So, thanks for the tip. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, I love chatting about books, and I would keep you here. And it's obviously one of your favourite subjects as well. So I will not, because we've both got children to feed, haven't we, and things like that.
We do, yeah, we do.
But yeah, so how do you feel now you've got some cringes off your chest?
Yeah, I feel lighter.
You feel lighter. That's good to hear. And I think by unleashing it, it also means you'll have a few cringeless days because you've emptied them out. That's the rule. That's the rule.
That's the goal. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. No, I feel much better.
Thank you so much for coming, Lucas. It was really nice to meet you. And good luck with the book and printing out future train tickets.
That's right. Same to you. And good luck with everything. Congrats on your novel as well. It's great. So congrats.
Oh, thank you so much. Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again to Lucas for joining me in the Cringe Club today. It was an eye-opener. I had no idea that there was so much to Dungeons & Dragons, and I actually really fancy getting into it. I mean, I probably haven't got the patience and I probably haven't got the time, but, one day I think I might try it. Anyway, go order up his brilliant book, A Million Tiny Missiles All at Once. It's got some fantastic reviews. It's been all over the press. So it's worth checking out. If you're after a bit more cringe, then don't forget you can read my new book series, Cringe Club, which is written in this unique, fun sort of group text chat. The second one is out now, called Battle at the Besties, and actually the third one is available for pre-order. The Cringe Club go on their holidays, and as you can imagine, they have a very cringy time. Anyway, thanks for listening, and keep on cringing, everyone.